Welcome back to another episode. Today I'm here with Miami Marlins prospect and son of Jeff, we will say, Griffin Conine. Griff, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, jumping right into it, we are from the Western New York area here on the show. And like I said, son of Jeff, but you probably don't get as many questions about the reason that we're talking today is that we met here in Buffalo. Mom and mom's family are from Buffalo. So take us a little bit through what you know about mom's side of things.
Yeah. She grew up on in outside of Orchard Park. Um, whole I want to say whole, all of high school. Went to Williamsville, which is funny because our the Marlins first or second round pick. I think he was first round. Um,
Compensation round A. Yep. So
Joe
32nd
Joe
overall.
Mack.
That's
Joe
amazing.
Mack
That's
was
awesome.
went to Williamsville. So that was like when I first met him. I met him at like a off-season camp that year, and that was like a great in I had. He's a great kid. Really excited for what he's going to do, but that was cool to talk to him a little bit about good to have a Buffalo guy in the org for sure.
Absolutely. And he's not too bad, right? So
Yeah.
he looks like he's gonna stay behind the dish. You guys are both lefty sticks. We are just kind of getting going back and forth about what you've been doing here in the off season. So, what's a day in the life of Griffin Conine look? Where are we living right now? Are we at home? Go through everything for me.
Yeah. This is the parents' house. This is my dad's memorabilia room. It's pretty cool. He does a podcast with a good friend of mine from high school, called Just Baseball. Give it a listen if you haven't already. It's really
Absolutely.
cool.
Everybody listen to that. Just baseball.
Um, Just Baseball podcast. They just talk about baseball topics, whatever. But got a lot of cool stuff back here. That's an Xbox signed by Bill Gates, which is pretty
Wow.
cool. And then there's tons of autograph balls and ton of bats down here. So pretty cool room. But yeah, this is kind of the off season spot. I haven't gotten around to getting an apartment yet, usually because I travel a lot during the off season, and
Going all over the place with
yeah, I'm
baseball, right?
moving a lot. So 3 month lease is tough to come by. Miami's super expensive, so all those factors. Got a really nice gym set up here. All my hitting stuff's around here, so it works out well to just kind of make this the home base. But as far as daily schedule, it's pretty it changes a lot actually. It's easier to do a weekly rundown. So I'll give you that, which is usually looks like 4 or 5 lift weight workouts a week at this point. Um, Usually afternoon, always afternoon I lift, never in the morning. Morning I always do baseball stuff, hitting, whatever that may be. So I'm
We
hitting
like to get we like to get the baseball stuff done first.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I hate being like sore and tired for hitting. You got to be like fresh so you can be quick. So yeah, I do all that in the morning. Yoga is big for me. I do that try to do 2 to 3 times a week. Hot yoga place on my house. Usually just an hour. That kicks my butt pretty good. I'm happy I got to last year I broke my hamate. So I just started to get into yoga and then broke my hand, so I was out for most of the off season, so I couldn't really.
Is that surgically repaired in there?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you
Wow,
can see.
wow,
That's like
look at
right where
that.
it's right where the callus is, but there's like a little scar right there.
Yeah, wow, man.
So
That
yeah,
is
that sucked. But also like they removed the bone, so it can never happen again. So it's nice to kind of have that done. Good to
yeah,
go. So
absolutely. We went that's a
yeah,
one and done kind of injury there.
exactly. Yeah. So got that taken care of. So been crushing yoga, which has been great.
And
And
no problems with the stick since that's
yeah,
all
no
been
problem.
kind of
It
developed.
was like it was annoying coming back. It just took a while. Like it leaked a bit into the season. They say 6 to 8 weeks, which was after 8 weeks you can swing again and be fine. But it's one of those things that like it takes a while to because you're now using a hand that doesn't have a bone where it used to be. So it's a
Right.
little different, but like it really once you like just you got to take a bunch of swings to kind of get used to it. So yeah, that was a pain, but also, like I said, done in the past. This offseason, I've been able to swing a bunch, which I needed. So very happy. And
Do you have a
yeah,
do you
that's
have a
pretty much.
you have a spot that you like to go to? Is there an off season guy, or do we pretty much just kind of take what the organization gives us and do kind of do it on our own time?
Yeah. So as far as I'm mostly on my own, I did actually go hit with Teacher Man a few months ago. I don't know if
Nice,
you've heard.
nice.
He's
No, I
pretty
know.
pretty
So I know
polarizing figure.
everyone's got opinions about
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
I'm all for what works, right? So
yeah,
it works sometimes, right? So we gotta
yeah,
listen to the right kind of people, and I love that. I'm not a go to war over who's right or wrong kind of thing, but if
yeah.
somebody can connect with you as an individual, did you see the benefits from going up and working with Griff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I had a high school and college teammate that went to him a few weeks prior that loved it, and then my roommate from last season in Pensacola, the Buffalo guy, actually Bubba Hollins.
Oh
Um,
wow, that's awesome.
yeah, he went and hit with him in October. So they both went first. They were kind of the guinea pigs. I was on the fence, and they were just like, "This is awesome, man! Like he's
Gotta
really
gotta
really
get here.
awesome. Like yeah, he's much different in person. All this stuff. So I've been following him for like a couple of years. Just they always post. I love like analyzing Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey. I love watching the greats, and he posts a lot of like really cool videos of breaking down their swings. Um, so that kind of piqued my interest, and then I followed him, and I got his number from a teammate who had worked with him, and yeah, just at that point, kind of last season, obviously didn't go completely how I wanted it, and it got to the point where like I kind of just need something that I can be really convicted on and follow because I've always had my ideas about the swing and my swing and whatever, but never really had like a hitting guy. I never had a hitting guy. My dad is kind of he's very like old school, and he was a different hitter than me, and kind of like he was much more on the mental side of the game. Like he kind of just let his athleticism play and just
Okay.
clear head and a lot of mental stuff. And for me, it's kind of like I kind of needed just something to get high level mechanics. I felt like I wasn't quite there.
Right. And it's, it sometimes it's not that Rich has reinvented the wheel or anything like that, but a second set of eyes all of a sudden that you now trust, maybe dad trusts and teammates are going there. Obviously, Aaron Judge is, the credibility line of things, right? All of a sudden you're
Yeah,
like, hey, I believe in this and I go into that place and I believe in it and like wow how quickly does it seem like wow that really clicked that was really all of a sudden
yeah,
being bought in. I know Eric Cressy says it a lot. There's lots of phenomenal private sector guys out there who do the baseball side of things and the workout side of things, but like
right.
you might have the wrong program for you, and being 100% bought into it is going to be better than having the most perfect program that you're like kind of bought into, right? Like so going
100%.
into a place where hey, the boys say that this is the spot to go, right? Like I've seen it, I like it. Hey, I'm out of here. And we so did you go up there and stay? Is he in Florida at like by where like the Stance doctor is? Is that where he's
He's
from? Or
he he does work in Tampa um close to the season because Judge hits out of Yankee spring training, so he works
yep.
there leading up to the season. But he's in St. Louis, which is like
Oh, okay. So
super
you
random spot. So yeah,
road
flew
tripped
out
it to
there.
St. Louis.
Yeah, flew out there, business trip, just 2 days, and then four. I think it was four sessions, so an hour each. And that was like my first. It was December 10th, I think, or 14th, and that was like I hadn't swung a bat really before that. I'd like taken 2 months off, no swings, so I wanted to go up completely fresh and kind of just like see what it was all about.
Right, here you
Yeah,
go. Right, yep. Like
I didn't want
this
to
is
like hit a bunch before, and then he kind of like undoes what I was working on or whatever. So because I was yeah, I trusted him in that sense, like get me going on the right foot, and I'll take it from there. And so now, yeah, it's been I guess a month almost since I went, and I text him usually after like my whatever hitting sessions back home, and he'll give me feedback, which is cool. But he's one of the best at analyzing video that I've ever seen. Like does just looks for different things, and I talk to him a lot about it, like what exactly he's looking for, and because there's specific things that he'll post videos of guys hitting, and I was watching them and being like, that looks like a good swing to me. But he's kind of like saying it's not. And I'm like, well, like, what are you looking at? If like that's because I feel like I'm a pretty good analyzer of video, and yet like I'm not seeing what he's seeing. So he helped kind of bridge that gap. And it really comes down to like how quick can you get the barrel full speed. And that was like something that I was never really good at. Like I would always have good top speed, but it took a long time to get there. And when that happens, you can't hit for a high average. It's impossible.
Well, and I remember, I know you've had discussions with, probably lots of guys, but the bombs and strikeouts year, right, is
Yeah,
like is the telltale sign of that, right? Like what is
right,
what's every hitter's goal, right? Like you get paid because you're going to hit a ton of home runs, and that's awesome. We want you to keep doing that, but we want to, like, you want to strike out less, right? There's more pressure on the defense. We walk more. Like your average kind of goes up by effect of just
exactly,
making decisions later and quicker, right?
right,
So if you can get the barrel to top speed sooner, you have more time to make the decision. All of a
exactly,
sudden, you're not swinging it bullshit, right? We're cleaning it up, right? We're walking, double the amount we walked the previous season. We're not
right,
swinging up those borderline ones, right? Like you'd rather have the discussion with Buzz the umpire about fouling a ball off that, like, hey, is that there? Do I really have to be there? And knowing that, like, your bat speed takes care of you, right? Bat speed
right,
quickly, he's right on, right? So I think
right.
obviously, right, like there's a ton of information about everybody out there, right? As far as you as a hitter and how pitchers can attack you once you're doing things well, or Aaron, or whoever it may be. But it really sounds like you're confident in the right spot. And this is, the first time kind of going into a season where we've got something new that we're really kind of
Yeah,
believing.
100%, 100%. It's the first time that I've felt, yeah, like there's just like nothing that can beat me. Whereas like, usually you go into a season and like spring training, it takes a while to like get up to speed, basically, like decision making. Like you don't see pitching most of the off season, so like it takes a while to get back in the swing of things. And like I'm sure there'll be an adjustment period, but I feel like now it'll be a lot quicker because like the evaluation is always going to come back to, was my swing getting up to speed as quick as it could have. And if it wasn't, then that's kind of the problem right there. You don't have to look further to like, oh, is he like, you don't have to look any further. It's just like that swing, you can watch a video and be like, okay, it took me too many frames to get to the ball. And like,
No,
and I had to decide too early and then I'm late. And then, so a lot of it too is like just being ready much earlier than I was never an early guy. Like I was always I was never a big load guy. Like I was kind of like a quiet foot, never really came super high off the ground. Cause I didn't feel like I could control it. I hated being early. I felt like vulnerable and all this stuff. So he kind of like, that was the first thing we tackled was like, you got to be ready way earlier, way earlier.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, everybody's, got their own phrases and everything, but even if, you came into the building today, or a 10-year-old came into the building today, for me, right, it's like, one, we're either ready or we're not ready at some point, right? Like velo
Right.
exposes, like, hey, you're getting ready while the ball's on its way in, or you're ready, right? And then,
Yeah.
like, then from there, right, like you do two things. We see the baseball well, right, from a spot where we can swing the bat as hard as possible.
Right.
And if you're running to first base while the shortstop fields your ground ball and you're like, come on, no, 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 and you get thrown out by that step, right? Like, rather than be upset about it, right, we can always dial it back to, hey, did I not see the ball as well as I could, right? Or did I not swing the bat hard enough, quick enough, right? In Rich's kind of sense, like, was I not quick enough to the ball to even deserve, right? Like the barrel
Right.
hitting the ball hard, right? Like, so sure, it comes back to, yeah, like I hit the ball hard a lot before, but hitting the ball hard more often, right, comes from quickness, comes from better decisions. And that's, what we want to put out there in the game. Today was kind
Right.
of you and me talking. I was gonna go in a youth direction anyway with some of the younger guys we work with, and their parents are gonna hear it. But like we just tackled that, right? Like if you can have a quick swing, right? Sure, you got to add some size, right, in order to have a quicker swing as balls get pitched at you faster. But you see the ball well, you get to a spot where you can be ready to swing the bat hard. I mean, there's hitting, right?
Yep.
So,
100%.
and I'm gonna go full circle back to Dad real quick, and you saying he was more on the mental side of things. Before our good friend Tanner Kerwer brought you into the building for the first time ever, I hosted an event. Quality at Bats. Steve Springer came to a nearby
Yeah. Yeah.
college university, and we put on an event with him, and he came to speak for us. So he's wrapping things up. He's probably got 5 minutes left or so. And he's just going through, his own talk, and then he starts talking about, what can kids really do to make sure they're ready. And I believe it was you and your brother came up as Jeff's sons. That he played with Jeff, and that just try to make your kids look as much as like Jeff's sons as you can, because they have Greek god bodies. And I remember kind of holding up his bat like that, and I remember meeting you for the first time and going like, dude, that guy is big, right? Like, take me through some of like, hey, when did we get started into the strength training stuff? Were you a big fat kid like Bryce Harper was, who thinned out? Like, take me through some of that evolution. And like,
Yeah.
obviously you're still a work in progress, but how did we get to the rock that we are, high school, college, whatever it might have been?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely started I want to say like sophomore year of high school. Lucky enough to have a nice gym in the house. So then
And is that
I think
like you mean like seriously, like really getting
yeah,
getting into like a
yeah,
routine of it?
yeah. I would say even then it was early. Like I was still it started as bench. Like that was just like me and my
Yep.
buddies would just go up there and bench, and like that was pretty much all we would do. And
Hey,
obviously like we start to expand as we get older, and like and now I don't bench really at all. Or I do much
full circle on
much
there.
yeah, I do very little bench these days. A lot more back stuff, but like that was yeah, that was kind of what started it, and just like seeing results like super quickly, and like kind of like getting like addicted. Like wow, we can change your body just by like lifting weights and all this stuff. So I think like transitioning from that into college, and to answer your question, I was like I was pretty skinny. Like I was a skinny kid. I was like 160 probably until junior year, 5'10", and then grew a few. And I think going to junior year was like the big change. Like started hitting homers because I got up to like 185, started eating a lot more. Weight room helped, and then in college, kind of fully got into like leg stuff, and um, legs are still behind the upper body, unfortunately. No matter how much I try to catch them up, it seems like
you
they're
said you said
always going to
there's
be behind.
there's lots of yoga kind of involved in your stuff, right? So,
Yeah,
I
that's
we got guys all over the place here. Hey man, look at this video of me, rack pulling 575 from a half seated position. That's like, that's awesome. But really leading into our swing, us throwing harder, us running faster, us running curves faster from first to third. Like,
yeah.
some of the specific stuff would you say that really kind of separates your workouts from the bench squat clean workout to like, hey, like this is a baseball specific thing that I feel like I have to do to, get the legs caught up or keep them up with everything.
Right. Yeah. So it's all like all functional, like very functional stuff. Like uh I'm trying to think of like I'm doing legs today. I'm just trying to think of what I'm doing. Like I'll do like today will be leg more quad hamstring or quad glute day. So like that'll end up looking like I'll probably do trap bar deadlifts, some band resistance on there. Uh love reverse lunges with a bar. So I do those a lot. Bulgarian split squats are awesome. A lot of single leg stuff. Single leg stuff's huge because like as a baseball player, especially a hitter, you want to be single leg hitter. Like that's Rich's whole thing, and that's one of the things that like polarizes him. People say like you know whatever. I think every hitter can agree though. Your back leg is pretty important to like be a rock on that back leg. That's something my dad talked about too. Um, just being really strong on one leg. So like I do a ton of stability stuff, one leg stuff. Ankle mobility is huge. That's something that's a new thing. I never used to do anything, and my feet were killing me like end of last year. Cleats aren't great for your feet. So I learned that. And now like lacrosse ball rolling's my best friend. I got a so right. That's my best friend. So
Wow.
just tons of soft tissue, ankle circles, dorsiflexion, all this. I mean, I think end goal for me, like I want to have a perfect squat. And that is really, really hard to do. Like go full depth, full squat, be heels on the ground. Obviously I'd
Toes
say
lined up.
90% of
Yep.
people,
Everything.
90% of people, your heels are going to come up when you go all the way down. And that's just like, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but every day, like that's kind of the goal is to get a millimeter closer. So like, that's what I want. And I think like that will open up so many things with hip health, and having good hips is so key. And yoga's helping a lot with that too. So it all goes hand in hand. It's just moving. I want to move better. I want to move like cleanly, pain free. And I've never had any major injuries, knock on wood, without doing much to prevent them beyond like lifting. So now I'm going like full bore into as much as I can do, soft tissue, mobility, yoga, whatever it may be. Because getting hurt's like my worst fear. Like that would, I don't know what I would do if like I had to miss, a full season of play. So now it's just like anything I can do to curb that and feel good. I'm all on board.
Or just stay ahead of it the best we can, right? So
Yeah.
that's a huge point too. And I remember getting to spring training, with the Angels as a coach in 2020. And we had a lady, I don't know if she had worked with probably 20 different organizations. Her name was Dr. Katie, and she came in and she like kind of coached her. She took our minor leaguers through Pilates day, through all these different things. Like some of
Yeah.
these guys, like, can't move something two inches, and she's got a 70-year-old guy that she brings with her who can get all his side triangle all the way to the block
Yeah.
on the ground and things like that. And he's got
Yeah.
a gut and his shirt stuck in, and you're like, well, he's embarrassing professional athletes right here with this lady, right? So
Yeah.
was there a person, a member of the coaching staff, or like just you kind of digging on your own where you were like, hey, like, how did this become so important right now?
Yeah. I think I would say like teammates more than anything. I had a couple of teammates in Pensacola that like were just always doing, on a so right. Like they had like an hour long of like mobility stuff, and like I wasn't doing much. And I just started, got to talking, and a lot of it's just like my own feelings, like about like, you evaluate, like I never got hurt, but like things aren't feeling great all the time. Like you get to the end of the season, I'm like, okay, like I'm feeling like a little pulling here and like some stuff here. And like, you want to be like perfect all the time, which is not going to happen. But there was like definitely some nagging things that kind of always would pop up. And it just came from like looking into what's causing that, and like being a one-sided sport athlete. I really wish I was a switch hitter because I feel like that would have solved a lot of the issues of the imbalances.
Yes, it
So like
does
my kid will be a switch hitter. I guarantee it.
somehow.
If I have one. But I think yeah, it was just being curious about like why things are happening, like why I feel certain things for seemingly like no reason, but there always is a reason. So and also just like I put in so much work in the lifting side of things, like for so long, that like the base is like it's almost like going to be very hard to gain anything in that department in a major way, right? Like it's kind of like the base is
You're
there.
not starting anything that's
I know.
new
Yeah,
where you can just,
exactly.
you
I'm
saw,
25.
you saw those bench increases in a month, right?
Yeah, I was putting up like 50-pound increase in 2 months. Now it's like I can gain 2 pounds in a year. So like everything's leveled out, right? So like I'm pretty strong. I like where I'm at. Now it's more about like I want to do the same lifts with the same weight, but like make it easier, make it cleaner, less effort to lift the same amount and quicker. So like it's not really like pushing the weight. I don't want to like be killing myself trying to like gain a tiny bit of strength when I could be gaining. Now it's like the increases come in mobility. Like I can see the 50-pound increase in my hips, like if I stay on top of it, right? So
Yeah,
like now it's like
I was going to say, just probably more so than see it, right? Like we can feel the difference,
yeah,
right? When it's the
it's
right way. And
huge.
obviously, Jeff's older. I'm old now, and I never played at a high level, but like that feeling, the difference between, a safety bar and a regular bar for me is that I can keep my heels on the ground the whole way, right? That
Right.
I can keep that perfect form. And it's a hell of a lot easier to fire up out of that position,
Right. Yeah.
rather than have to go about it in the other way. And I think, even in the last 10 years of strength training and mobility stuff, obviously you just getting into this now, right? You're a professional athlete for almost 5 years now, and you're like, hey, what else can I do? Right. I think there's so
Yeah.
many guys or girls even out there who go into a gym, grab their first personal trainer, and it's like, all right, I bench, I squat, I clean, and I do sit-ups, and like we run with this program forever. And why am I not seeing, stick to it? You got to stick to it. Is that the way that you move, not only for a professional athlete, boys and girls, right, is important, but being able to stand up when you're 50, 60, 70, right, the right way, no knee replacements, no hip replacements, Griff's on the right track to having a healthier, long life, no matter
Yeah,
how good or bad this goes in the big leagues, right? So,
that's what we
um,
want.
yeah, that I mean, all at the end of the day, man, right? Like you want to be able to catch for a kid, or you want to be able to, I don't know how much you're on the field with Jeff, but like he's probably a good example. He's pretty healthy overall guy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. Like um, he on the mobility side of things, like he did very little, and like that was a time where back it wasn't that long ago, but like it's changed a lot in the last like 15 years about like how much they emphasize that. But he was like they told him like strength training would make you too tight, and like he would lift anyway, but like they like the coaches were telling them like not to lift weights
Don't
basically. But
lift
this is more
and don't lift and don't do any mobility stuff and just stay how you're
yeah, like this is
going.
all gonna like mess you up and like all this stuff. It's wild to hear about. So like um, it's pretty insane that he never had a major injury because of all that. Because he's like in now like he's very like super tight, still active, like plays golf, good tennis player, but like he's just like a very rigid mover, and I just like want him to roll out so bad or something, do
Right, you're
something to
like
like
you're bringing the oil along. You're like, man, just grease that up a little bit, right?
yeah, yeah.
That should
He's
feel
like
better
all
than
just
it does.
like so tough moving, and I'm just like I just want to be fluid so bad. So like watching him move, I'm just like I want him to like do
I'm
yoga or
not gonna
something.
do
But
that. Yeah, hey, come to hot yoga, man.
yeah,
So that's awesome. We're gonna switch members of the family real quick and hit your brother, right? Tucker. He has is it a shirt line? Is it all sorts of clothes? Go ahead and give us the rundown. How's he
yeah,
doing?
yeah. He's awesome. He's super creative mind. To answer your question, I don't think he has a specific idea of like whether it is shirts or it kind of varies. Like right now, I think his most recent is like he's releasing a bunch of journals that like are pretty cool, have a pretty cool design. It's called Tucker's Room. His name's Tucker. He has a room. But like I don't know how he came up with that. That's his handle. It's pretty cool. He came up with a little logo. He's really into like film. He's majoring in film at High Point. He's a senior. And I think it was through his
Does he
friend
love it
or
there? We have a couple of guys there
he
say the
does.
campus is
Yeah, he
unbelievable.
does. It's on. I went and visited him my last year at Duke when he was a freshman. And I mean, it's like everything's brand new. Like they had a movie theater on campus. Like it's a country club. They have an awesome like film program with some pretty cool tools for him to use. So I think like I don't think he knew going in that he went there for track. And then film kind of like he was interested and that kind of evolved as he went. So I think it ended up to be like a perfect spot for him to go. But yeah, he loves it. He's graduating in May. Fingers crossed. So
All our younger
yeah,
siblings, you never know if they really graduate, right? You get them tomorrow,
yeah.
but that's unbelievable. And is he sticking in film, or is he going to run with Tucker's room for a while before he gets into the film side of
I
things?
think I think I don't think he knows to be honest. I think my estimation is like he loves film like that's his like his true love like he just loves that's his passion. So I think the clothing brand is like more of a side gig and it's pretty cool. Like he's come up with some pretty cool stuff. Being just a side gig, I have both of his shirts that he's released. I think he's talking about doing some hats in the future. Uh, but yeah, I think it's just like who knows what that kid's gonna do. I don't know, to be honest. He'll do
Well, dude,
something
yeah,
creative and super original. So
that's awesome. And I mean, film is at a spot today, right, where you don't have to get in with a paramount of like there are so many different deals, there's so many different film festivals where like he is,
yeah,
he could be a star overnight probably. So
yeah,
um
exactly.
we never really tackled too much after Joe Mack, but so mom from Buffalo, how often do you make it here? Who lives here? Will give me a little bit
Yeah,
more about mom's side of the family and
right.
ultimately how we ended up getting you in the building was you being home in Buffalo to see mom's family.
Yeah, yeah. So we Thanksgiving every year, at least for the last 10, maybe more. Always go to Buffalo. We got the whole squad. My mom's aunt, my mom's cousin, my mom's mom. She lives down here in Naples. So she comes up with us. But her whole like all her cousins are that side of the family. So they all still live there. Orchard Park, I think mostly. Um, her her one cousin and her husband and their two kids, they live like right across the street from Stephon Diggs. So like
Wow.
they were helping him like clear out the snow and they got slammed with snow on that so he
We
could get to
we
the
probably we
stadium.
probably saw them on the news, man. They were the only reason. Some
Yeah.
of some of those neighbors, the only reason those dudes even got out to the airport to make it to
Yeah, yeah,
the
they're
game.
like so thrilled to be able to. They go to every game, like huge, obviously huge Bills fans. My mom is. I'm like an honorary. I don't really have a football team. I don't watch a ton, but like
Let's go.
if I had to
See,
choose,
you
I would
cheer
choose
for us while
Bills
we're
just because
on.
like
Hell yeah.
yeah, exactly. I got no one else, so like, and they are fun to watch. Like they're so passionate. Josh Allen's a beast, so it's a good team to be able to be a part of. There he is.
Kind of hanging out right back there.
There's the
So,
beast.
well, dude, I
Yeah,
mean,
so it's fun.
it's entertaining and it's a great time to be here. I don't know, is
Yeah.
who's the closest football team down there to you guys?
Miami Dolphins, which is I mean they got a new coach and I think this season was definitely a turnaround from last year.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
follow it too much to be
with
honest, but
Tua got a concussion early on. He's had like
yeah,
two or three
yeah,
since then, right? So it's actually we had a guy who was just on who had the same thing happen to him in the fall at a baseball practice at Iona College in New York City.
yeah. I
He
saw
was
you post about that, and I
yeah,
was
he was
wondering if it was the
bunting and
same thing.
he got hit in the heart. Exact same thing that happened to DeMar Hamlin. So your heart kind
Yeah,
of stops that immediate response stuff. So the people who were here in Buffalo the other day, it's great to see them jump into action so quick.
yeah,
Huge shout
absolutely,
out to all of our medical training staff out there and the athletic trainers who are always on site to jump right into action. I've been reminding
100%.
you guys who are out there headed to spring training soon, headed out into the college baseball season soon. Do not sit on your phone through the training, please, because you never know when you're gonna have to save a dude's life on a comeback or on a bunt on anything. So that's
Absolutely,
that's huge, and I think that's a good way to tie mom's family and Buffalo into that.
100%.
Absolute final thing for you. When you were coming out of high school, you said you're kind of smaller baseball wise and travel ball and all the kind of stuff. How do we end up at Duke? What did we do to end up there? And what was the reasoning over anywhere else if that's the options that you kind of had?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think a big part of it, honestly, was the fact that a teammate of mine had committed there his sophomore year of high school. Who he was a stud. Like I was when he was a sophomore, he was like 6'3", already like 200 pounds. Great player. So he committed super early. Um, and then the coach would come to see him, just keep tabs, whatever. And that was like when I started to develop. I didn't get to his size until like my junior year. Um, and then like I had a really good junior season. So I think they saw me when they'd come to see him. I lucked out basically because the coach was there to see him, and we had a lot of good players. So I'm sure he was looking at everyone. But I think I had a few good games while he was there, and then they kind of followed me into that summer ball season and started talking to him. And yeah, the final three I think, or the three like official visits were Rice was the first one, um,
Wow.
which I liked a lot. And I like wanted to go there because that was like my first offer, and I was like pretty late. It was like junior year. Uh, it was going into like it was like end of junior year, so I was like kind of
Yeah,
getting antsy. Like
you're getting into the fall. Your senior year, like, damn,
yeah, all my
what am I
friends are
gonna do? Right?
committing, and
Yeah.
I was pretty nervous. So I was like, okay, like I saw an offer. I was like, all right, I
Hey,
got to take it.
just
Like
so everybody out there hears it, like you can wait that long to commit. Just so you know, you don't have to
yeah.
commit when you're 12, right? Like
Even now, now it's
Griff is
crazy because
here and he's fine, and he didn't know where he was going until all right.
yeah,
So Rice first official, amazing place, but yes. So Rice
yeah.
right into where are we going?
And then North Carolina, and I saw Wake and Duke. I think in the same day, which were both awesome. I think the difference came down to like scholarship was obviously like money not an issue, but I think it was more like I felt like I had a chance to play at Duke. Wake was a little better at that point program wise,
Yep.
and they had all their spots filled basically. Like they were like, we want you to come, but like we don't have any money, so like it's kind of like can you commit? And I think like I think about it in hindsight, like if you go anywhere, like you get no matter if you're promised money or anything, like obviously they might get a little more opportunity, but if you play well, like they will find a spot for you. Like you'll be in the lineup basically. But I think at the time, like I just wanted like to be sure that I could have a chance to play early. I didn't want to like be stuck kind of watching until junior year. And I heard so many stories about that, and that's not it. So like I think the coaching staff and everything at Duke just seemed like a little more my speed. And then the campus was like it was ridiculous. Like it was once I was walking around, they took us around a golf cart, saw the stadium. They played the Bulls Stadium. Hopefully, I'll be playing there next year at some point, which would be cool. But
Absolutely.
yeah, just the whole package was awesome. So I was just like, can't go wrong. Can't go
I would like to be a Blue Devil. So
wrong.
I'm actually gonna cut right here because we're about to run out of time. Do you have like
Okay,
5 more
perfect.
minutes?